Welcome back to Caffeine Confessionals. My name is Allan. I just wrote an article where I detailed the best co-ed pairs in challenge history. Today I'm going to make a video where I talk about the best male duos in challenge history. When I say duos, I mean partners who played together on a season, either on Rivals 1, Rivals 2, Battle of the Bloodlines, or Final Reckoning. Not best friends like Nelson and Corey, people who partnered together and competed on a season. We're going to go in detail on the top 5 pairs ever. However, before we do that, we're going to name the honorable mentions. In 10th place, we have Shane and Nelson from Final Reckoning. 9th place, Mitch and Corey, Battle of the Bloodlines. 8th place, Mike and Leroy from Rivals 1. 7th place, Tony and Bananas on Final Reckoning. And the team that breaks my heart didn't make it into the top 5, Jordan and Marlon in 6th place on Rivals 2. On to the top 5 itself. Coming in 5th place is the duo of Adam and CT from Rivals 1. Even though they didn't make the final, I'm putting them on the top 5 still because I think this is the best physical form of CT. He's still massive enough to truck people, but had the slender frame and the cut body to run a final. While Adam definitely wasn't the strongest partner, he had the cardiovascular ability to keep up with CT in a final and was a puzzle solver, so that's an added bonus on the side. Together, they won 2 daily challenges, came in 2nd place in an additional 3 challenges, and won a key elimination against Evan and Nehemiah. Ultimately, they lost that elimination to Johnny and Tyler, where it looks pretty clearly that Adam threw it. I'm not sure where that puts them in this ranking especially, and that's like the biggest curveball, because on paper, they were one of the best teams, and had Adam not thrown that elimination, maybe they still win the season. It's weird, because if your partner hates you that much, should you even be on this list? At the same time, even with Adam throwing that final elimination, I do personally believe CT and Adam were much closer to winning a championship together than Marlon and Jordan were, the team that I barely left off the top 5. In 4th place is the runners-up of Rivals 2, Johnny Bananas and Frank Sweeney. In terms of raw stats, they won 2 daily challenges, which doesn't sound that great, but there were only 5 male elimination days that season, and they had immunity for 2 of them, so that's huge. Their real strength was their political game, where they managed never to go into elimination once. Their one flaw, though, is the fact that they weren't able to get Wes and CT voted in at all either. What shocked fans is that even though Frank was known for his loud mouth on Battle of the Seasons, he proved to be a better runner, sprinter, and swimmer than Johnny, for Rivals 2 at least. In theory, this duo is capable of winning almost any season of the challenge. However, on the season they were on, they ran into a duo who is simply better than them. Coming in 3rd place is the OG Rivals champions, Tyler Duckworth and Giant Bananas. Do you know what a winner's edit is in reality TV? Think of Cara Maria on Bloodlines, Bananas and Sarah on Rivals 3, seasons where these characters are being built up in such a way that you know they're gonna win in the end. That was not Johnny and Tyler in any way. Despite being a strong team and the winners of the season, they were in the background compared to CT, Wes, Kenny, Evan, and even Mike and Leroy. Nonetheless, they still won 3 out of 8 daily challenges together, a epic final elimination, and then the final itself. Tyler is just one of the most underrated players in challenge history. Once he put on some weight, the guy had a 6'2" 200 frame to go along with the fact that he did triathlons and Ironmans for fun. The guy was maybe the best swimmer in challenge history, throw in an Ivy League education, and the guy is an absolute powerhouse. Johnny Bananas is pretty good too. In 2nd place is the 2nd place finishers of Rivals 1, Wes Bergman and Kenny Santucci. Did they lose the final? Technically, yes. Did they come in last place in 2 daily challenges that forced them to go into elimination both times and win? Yes. And do I still think they're the better team? Hell yeah. Even though they were a dysfunctional pair, it was somewhat like watching LeBron James when he joined the Heat with Dwayne Wade. And they're losing these random games to these bad teams at first, but you know when the games get serious and you get to the playoffs that they're going to lock in. That was them in eliminations, and that was them in the final. In day 1 of the final, they won by 50 minutes. Then MTV makes their lead 2 minutes the next day. Johnny and Tyler sneak in the win, and they try to build up this edit of, oh, if you never become friends with your partners, then you're never going to win this season. That was just a flat out lie. Wes and Kenny hated each other. They were clearly the better team. Hell, if you put them on the challenge now, in their late 30s as a pair again, they'd still be one of the favorites to win. In 1st place, it's quite obvious. It's the Rivals 2 winners, Wes Bergman and Chris Tamburello. If having Wes and Kenny on the same team was like having LeBron and Dwayne Wade, having CT and Wes together was like having 2 LeBrons. What's so funny about this pairing is that they've both done interviews where they talked about how they entered the season just kind of going on for fun, but the second they got partnered together, they realized they could actually win it all. They spent their entire season just running laps every single day to build themselves for the final. They didn't care about the daily challenges because CT was hooking up with every girl in the house to get their votes on their side. Then at the end game, they win the important final 2 daily challenges, and then they go to the final itself and they crush everyone. On day 1, they're the only team to figure out the giant 3-dimensional puzzle, and then on day 2, they lap Franken Bananas. Do you know how crazy it is to beat Franken Bananas that convincingly in a final? That is the only final that Johnny Bananas has ever lost running as an individual or a pair, and Frank is an even better cardio person than him. When it came to their individual skill sets, they also just melded perfectly. Wes is a very skilled / finesse athlete, while CT is more of the brute who can carry a lot of weight for them and could pick up some of Wes's slack as Wes had lost a lot of weight at this point. The most important thing unifying them was that they each had these giant chips on their shoulders and were hungry to prove themselves. Wes, his 2 previous seasons, had been an early boot. CT still had not won up to this point. This win redefined their careers. This win redefines how we look at them now. I'm not sure we will ever get a win as significant as that one ever again. Welcome back to Caffeine Confessionals. My name is Allan. I just wrote an article where I detailed the best co-ed pairs in challenge history. Today I'm going to make a video where I talk about the best male duos in challenge history.